Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Offset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button, smack the bell, give this video a thumbs up, drop us a positive comment in the comment section, and pass this on to somebody else who might like it too. Also, don't forget that at the end of this video, I have some people that I'm going to shout out, some of my favorite comments. So hang around and see if one of them is yours. All right, guys. So first of all, I want to talk to you guys about something that's very serious. Someone asked me about this. She said she wanted to ask about Aquarius and depression. And she wanted to know what are the things, she's had some issues with an Aquarius who's constantly depressed. And she wants me to tell her what are some of the things that cause depression in an Aquarius. Now, anybody can suffer from anxiety, depression, or any other form of, disorder or mental health issue. Aquarius, I'm just going to tell you the top three reasons why some of us will fall into a depression. I could probably make a list of 10 things, but these are the ones that repeat constantly. These are the ones that my subscribers and my clients say to me over and over again. These are the top three. I'm going to tell you what they are, and I'm going to explain them just a bit, okay? Number one, the biggest thing that causes depression and sometimes anxiety too in an Aquarius is suppression and repression of emotions. People always think that Aquarius are cold and unfeeling and they're aliens and they're this and they're that. But the truth is that many of us suppress and repress the emotions that we don't want to feel. This is not good. This is not good at all. Because as an Aquarius, you learn when you're young. Those of us who have this issue, we learn when we're young that we don't like certain emotions. We don't like to deal with certain things that are painful or emotionally frustrating, or things like that. So if we have a breakup, for example, it's very Aquarius not to deal with the feelings from the breakup. It's very Aquarius to throw yourself into a project or a cause or a job or something, an artistic pursuit. It's very Aquarius to throw yourself into something that's extremely important and extremely time consuming. This is that sneaky shit I be talking about, because here we are, we basically sneak it ourselves, because if it's something that's major and important, we can justify focusing on it instead of focusing on ourselves. Because we'll be like, well, instead of being selfish and focusing on me and my needs, I'm going to focus on saving the whales. I'm going to focus on, people who are in crisis. I'm going to focus on spirituality. I'm going to focus on some form of activism. I'm going to focus on my job. I'm going to focus on doing a new painting, building a new car. We will find something that's extremely important and usually difficult and put that right in place. For me, it was my causes. My jobs always revolved around my causes, things that I really care about. So my job was so important. I'm a social worker. I'm a teacher. I'm doing things that are really important and involve a lot of energy, so I don't have to focus on myself. I don't have to focus on my hurts and my emotions. I can easily push them to the side and justify it because this is so important. And it is important. Homeless youth or whatever cause I was into was important. And I can even venture to say more important than maybe what I was even going through at that time. But I still should have gave myself a little bit of time to deal with those emotions. But instead, I used that excuse to suppress and repress them because I didn't want to deal with them in the first place. So this is very Aquarius. And unfortunately, what happens with this, you can only suppress and repress emotion for a certain amount of time. And it can even be years and years and years. But eventually, what happens is you come in and out of depressions, in and out of anxiety, because them emotions aren't going anywhere. They're just kind of put to the side, but they're still there. And you're still responding to them, whether you're dealing with them or not. So depressions are going to come up. You're going to be sad and don't even know why. It's because of what happened to you that you didn't deal with 16 years ago. Those things just keep coming up. Those anxieties, those hurts, those depressions, it keeps coming up. Now, everybody doesn't go through that. Some people suppress and repress it and they just kind of push it away, and it's there and they might even be responding to it, but they might not fall in and out of depressions. They might not fall in and out of anxieties. This is just for the people who do. This is something that could be causing it. And the only way to address this is to start to deal with your emotions. Maybe see a professional if you can. And a lot of people don't want to see a professional, even though a professional is a good idea. But I just recommend you see a professional that's on your level, a professional that understands you. If you have, like, for instance, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine was saying that her therapist understands the law of attraction. Her therapist is open to different forms of energy and alternative healing, even though she doesn't use them herself. Her therapist is open to aromatherapy. Her therapist is of the same culture as her. So little nuances and symbols and things like that, she understands. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but try to find a mental health professional that is going to be understanding of you and who you are. So you don't have to sit there arguing and explaining yourself to them. They get you. They're like, okay, now let's deal with your issues. Some people get a practitioner who doesn't do that, and it hinders their growth. So the first thing is finding a good person. Finding somebody who's on your level, understands you, a good mental health professional. And sometimes that takes a while. I went through 3 therapists before the 4th one actually helped me. So it might take a little bit of time, but I recommend like talking to them and not staying for long. That's why I messed up. I stayed too long. Go talk to them once or twice, maybe even once. If it doesn't work, move on to the next one. Don't try to interview them for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Just move on. If that first initial conversation, you're really not feeling them and it's like not resonating with your spirit, then it's time to move on. Keep going till you find somebody that's good. Number 2, another thing that has a tendency to have Aquarius depressed is ideals not being met. Aquarius have ideals about how things are supposed to be in their own mind, and we're all different to what that ideal is. But relationship-wise, how a person should treat us, the way life should be, we all have these ideals. And if they're not met, sometimes we can experience depression because we become sad with the environment that's around us. We become sad that our vision isn't our reality. And usually what that really means is that we have to spend more time working on our reality, working on our manifestations, and making sure our ideals are realistic for our lives. So sometimes it's just a matter of time and continuing to be optimistic and working on it. And sometimes our ideal is so far out there. Like my relationship ideals when I was younger were very unrealistic. They were very unrealistic. They were based on television and fantasies and things like that. They weren't real because I had never seen people in real relationships before. I had never read things on relationships. I had never seen seminars and workshops and things like that on how real relationships work. So I was expecting everything to be hunky-dory and any disagreements to wrap up in 30 minutes, minus commercials, So I wasn't expecting real things to go wrong that I couldn't fix, or, things to happen that were unfixable, or just situations I need to walk away from. I mean, so many real life reality kind of things I really didn't realize back then at 18, 19, 20, 22 years old when I was in As a matter of fact, my most long-term relationship was actually from 15 to 21. That was my longest relationship. And during that whole time, I had no idea what the hell I was doing, number one. And number two, that what I thought I was doing was impossible. It was impossible. You can't leave it to Beaver. Your life is not going to be just like the Cosby Show, or like what I thought the Cosby Show was, because as we see, there was more going on behind those scenes too. Anyway, the point of the matter is that life is not a sitcom. And I didn't realize how much of my ideals were based on fantasy. And the last one is not fitting in. Some Aquarius, especially young Aquarius, really go through a lot of not fitting in, because when you're not fitting in, you feel kind of lonely sometimes. And it depends on the Aquarius, because some of us, like me, I never fit in. I never fit in my whole life anywhere. And when it bothered me the most was in the younger grades, kindergarten to 8th grade. That's when it really bothered me. After coming out, it bothered me a little bit sometimes in high school. And then that was pretty much it. I just kind of got used to not fitting in after that. It happened so frequently, I just got used to it. But sometimes, like I said, when I was younger, and some Aquarius don't get used to it. So the fact that we're so different, we're so eccentric, some of us get used to and actually kind of celebrate. At this point, I'm glad that I'm different, because it's what makes me me. It's what makes me unique. But some Aquarius never come to that space, so they feel sad about not fitting in. I told you guys one time before, Aquarius experience a lot of betrayal, and some of that has to do with not fitting in. So you might meet somebody, you finally meet somebody that you like, and you never really fit in, and you finally meet somebody and they betray you. So those kind of things, can cause depression in the Aquarius. So like I said, there are many other things, but these are the 3 that are said to me over and over again. And for Aquarius who are sad or depressed or dislike not fitting in, I just feel like, Aquarius, that's your superpower. And if you can really realize that and harness it, that eccentric, that what makes you unique, original, authentic, that is your superpower. That's the gift. That's one. Well, I'm going to say that's the gift. That's one of the gifts at being Aquarius. And if you can, harness that and be okay with that, you're not meant to fit in, Aquarius. Aquarius is supposed to be the leader or the lone wolf. So you're supposed to be leading the pack or chilling by yourself. That's the way Aquarius is built. So if you're in one of those two spaces, that's a pretty normal space for us. So if you can, like I said, turn that into a plus, like I did, and start to embrace it, celebrate it, even go with it. Just go with it. And if you can do that, as long as you're not hurting nobody, you'll be fine. You'll come to that space where you'll be like, wow, I like being unique. It's kind of cool. All right, guys, let me tell you guys, before we get going, my favorite comments. I have 3, I think. This one came from Ray. Ray left 2 comments, and I put them both together because I thought this was so sweet. Ray said, I stumbled across this video, and all I have to say is, oh my God, you got everything down to the T. New subby here. Loving her evil giggle. Thank you so much, Ray, for subscribing. And you know what's funny with what you said about the giggle? Because people always comment on my laugh. I'm always cracking up. And one of my friends, she says, people always talk about how witches cackle. That's the witches cackle. And she said that it's so funny to her, that a lot of us get comments about our laugh. I don't know about other ones, but I know for me, I believe in humor. And I believe in laughter, and I believe in smiling. I believe in letting good energy come up. So, My little devilish giggle gets a lot of gets a lot of airtime. Then Aqua 93 said, "It's amazing to me how soap, hand wash, and hand sanitizer has been sold out as if they are groundbreaking discovery or something. I mean, what were these people doing before?" Aqua 93, I don't even want to know. It's a good question, but I don't think I want to know. So thank you to you and Bray for your comments. Oh, and the last one, let me tell you this one. This came from Shell Bells. This comment literally made me cry, okay? Because, you know, I'm a little emotional at times, and this is one of them. It's my time of the month, in case you didn't, in case you're wondering, that's what's going on. And when I saw this, I cried because I'm going to read it to you. It says, "You are the best online auntie ever. Laugh out loud." I don't know how many of you know this, but a lot of you will. In the Black community, if somebody calls you a family name, auntie, you know, godmother, cousin, you know, this is my brother, this is my sister, and you're not actually blood related to them, it's one of the highest terms of endearment and signs of affection that you can be bestowed in our community. That's it right there. That's better than getting them. That's better than being invited to the cookout. Okay? Because if you're called auntie, you come into every cookout, okay? And you bring in the potato salad. So I was very moved when I saw that. Whenever younger, especially when it's younger Black women, call me auntie, that's the first thing that comes to my mind, you know? And it just moves me because I'm not just here for people of color. I'm here for all people, you know? But when you get that level of affection from your own family, and in this case, the African American community being family, it's extremely touching, you know? So thank you, Shell Bells. That was a very sweet comment. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you want to get a reading done, please email me and come back soon because I have a lot more to say. See you later.